All right, this is class demo number 2 for lesson 9. It starts on page 336 in the manual. And this demonstration is going to cover a sketch contour. And a sketch contour allows us to use a sketch, and we can actually use different parts of that same sketch to create features. Um, so we can use different parts of the same sketch to create different features. And basically any boundary that we can create by that sketch, um, that boundary meaning the intersection of sketch geometry, any of that sketch geometry, we can either use that individually or in combination with other contours. So let's look at these examples found on page 336 in the book. And if we look at that top line where it says individual regions, any of those regions shown in pink, either the left or the right side, or even the left or right side of one of the holes or cylinders, can be used to create features. And so that middle section is showing individual contours, either the outline here, individual circles, and then the bottom line where it says combined contour selection, we can combine the left and the right of either that rectangular box or either one of those circles. All right, so go ahead and open up the file partial editing CS, and we'll take a look at this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is take this contour section over here, and we're going to reorder this, and we're going to put this contour section underneath base fillet. Now let's take the rollback bar and let's move this up one more. I'm sorry, between base fillet and wall thickness. Now let's take the rollback bar and we're going to move underneath the contour section and between wall thickness. So now it looks like we have a base plate here with that sketch on it. All right, so now with our contour selection sketch on top of the base plate, we're going to use this and we're going to make our first feature. We'll make a cut. So if we come up here to features and I come over here to extruded cut, it says select either one, a plane, a planar face, or an edge on which to sketch the feature, or an existing sketch to use for the feature. So we're going to come down here, we're going to select this edge of this rectangle, and you can see that it highlights this contour shape. We're going to cut down 10 millimeters, which is already in, I've got entered here. The arrow is pointing down, so it's cutting the right way, and I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see that it made that cut. And if I expand this, cut, extrude, and show this sketch here, I've still got my sketch here that I can work with. And that's what we meant before when we said we could make multiple features using that same sketch contour. All right, so now for this one, if I come over here and hover on contour selection and I right click, I can come down here and if I click here at the bottom, I can expand that tree a little bit. And then we can go to contour select tool. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to click this first half of the circle. I'm going to hold my control key down. I'm going to click this half. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do the same thing, holding my control key. And I'm going to select both of those circles. Now I can come up here. I can select extruded cut again. We'll change blind to through all. And we'll click the green check mark. OK. And now I've got two holes there. Now both these features were used using that same sketch contour. All right, let's click on this cut extrude one, and we're going to rename this, and we're just going to call this hole underscore MTG for hole mounting. And then we'll do the same with this cut extrude 2. We're going to rename, and we're just going to call this through underscore holes. Okay, and then we're going to right click on the rollback bar and we can just roll this to the end. Brings back our other features. So if we roll this over, we can see that it created these kind of extruded cylinders. And that's because this was part of a shell command. It was under a shell command, and it kept that same wall thickness even though we added those holes, and we don't need those there. And so the reason for this is if we look over here on the command tree, or the feature tree, that through holes comes before that shelling command with wall thickness. And so if I take through holes and I move this down and place it after wall thickness, now it's no longer affected by that. And you can see that those extruded cylinder features that were there under the shelling command are no longer there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on wall thickness, and we're going to edit this, edit feature. We're going to change this to 6 millimeters. Click OK. And now you can see that it thickened those edges up there, those wall thicknesses around that. So let's roll this back around. And that sketch is still there. And so we don't need that anymore. We're not going to create another feature. And so I can come up here and I can right click on my contour selection. And this little eyeball with a slash through it, if I come up here and I just click on that, that goes away. It still remains in the feature tree, so if I need to bring it back again, I can, but it removes it from the sketch, or I'm sorry, the model. All right, so we found before that there are a number of different ways that we can add fillets to a part. If I want to know which one this is, if I click on this fillet, it's going to highlight this over here. And so that's one way I can get to it. Or if I click on this, it's also going to highlight the fillet on the part. If I hold my control key down and click circular fillet, what I can do is hold that my left key down and I can drag this over and select a new edge, and now I can apply that circular fillet, the dimensions that were in that, and I can create a new fillet like it just did and go around that part. So I just noticed that it created these new fillets all the way around this new cutout and in the back, and I didn't want that. And so what I did is I probably selected a face, which applied the fillets to every surface touching that face instead of that edge. And so I'm going to delete this. And we're going to try that again. So I'm going to hold my control key down. I'm going to select circular fillet. I'm going to keep my left key held down. And then I'm going to come over here and try to select this edge, and we'll see if that works a little better. Okay, so there it just selected this edge here, which is what I wanted. It did not go around. And now we're going to go into here and we're going to edit this feature. We're going to change this to the 3 millimeters. And then I'm going to click up here in the box, and now I'm going to select this back edge to add to it. And it's going to propagate up here, and it's going to take this down to this new cutout, and I'm going to click OK. So again, I don't know how much time that actually saves, but it is another way to do that, to apply fillets. All right, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to create a section view, and I think we've done this before, but this is a different way to do it. And so if we come up here to the view orientation, most of the time we use this isometric view, but if there's also a drop-down menu, and we're going to do a trimetric view. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm just going to select this base face, and then I'm going to come up here to this icon that looks kind of like a donut. I'm going to hit section view. I want planar, which is already selected. I want a plane, not a zone. And then I'm just going to take this handle and I'm going to drag wherever I want. And the book shows it's about halfway through that hole there. And I'm going to click OK. And that is going to conclude this lesson. So go ahead and save this, and you can hand this in for this portion of the in-class demo.